Welcome back to Door to Deceit. I'm your host, Ash, and I'm happy you're here. It's been so long since I have said that, and I truly apologize for the hiatus. I mean, to be honest, it caught me off guard too. Like, I was feeling so demotivated and just really disconnected from my content, but we are back with a brand new season and a brand new focus. I know that I personally needed something that I could really sink my teeth into, and then it hit me. There are very few things that I love more than being nosy in this life. That's just me being real, especially when it comes to some relationship drama. So, for the foreseeable future, we will be diving into just how thin that line between love and hate really is. So stay tuned. Our story begins in Harlem, New York with our victim, Felicia Barahona. The 36-year-old had a 4-year-old son, his name was Miguel, and unfortunately he was another victim in this series of crimes. So let's take it back to the year of 2016. It's the day after Christmas, and instead of smelling leftovers or hearing wrapping paper or kids screaming in the halls or whatever, the air in Felicia's building is thick, it's foul, it stinks. There's a lot going on up in that hallway. So the superintendent, he goes to investigate. Lo and behold, the smell actually seems to be coming from Felicia's unit, not just on the hall. So he ends up calling 911 simply because he went on that fire escape, girl, and he saw Felicia through the window lying on the floor in what he assumed was, her being dead. When the police arrived, they did end up confirming his suspicions. Not only did they find her dead on the ground, but they also found Miguel dead in the bathtub. And apparently, the two of them had been there for 3 to 4 days, which is just so crazy to me because this is over the Christmas holiday. Like, literally, Christmas was the day before they were found. So you are telling me that nobody called, nobody texted, nobody visited, nobody FaceTime, nobody nothing? And she has little kids, like she has another daughter or had another daughter as well. So it's just like with kids around, you would think people would call or visit and stuff, but maybe not. She could have just not had family or friends that were close around, but Jesus, like Christmas is a long time to be like missing basically, and nobody comes to check on you. That's very sad to me. Anyway, Felicia was a former science teacher at DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx. She'd been on the job for a while before it was discovered that she was actually having a sexual relationship and was cooking up an unborn child with one of her students. His name was Isaac Duran Infante. As far as their relationship, because obviously I can't just skip over that, apparently they connected on Facebook and one thing led to another. I'm putting heavy fucking air quotes over that, because how does one thing lead to another with a child? Girl. So Halloween 2011, not my graduation year. Now I just aged myself. So Halloween 2011, they end up linking up. And then on Isaac's 17th birthday, they end up having sex for the first time at her house. So if I'm not mistaken, from the timeline that I was given, 16 is when they linked, but they didn't actually have sex until 17 because Felicia's a groomer. Like, plain and simple. I'm sorry. I know she's passed away and I feel bad about saying it, but girl, the truth is, it's the motherfucking truth. Let's keep it a bean. That was grooming, plain and simple, in my opinion. You watched him, you plotted, and then you waited until he was of legal consenting age, and you hunched him on that very same birthday, girl. That is grooming. But I fucking guess. Not here to victim blame, so let's keep it moving. Anyway, they kept sleeping together. Unprotected, mind you. In fact, she would tell him not to worry about using protection when they would have their 5 times a week rendezvous. Obviously, she ended up pregnant. Like, let's be real. Anyways, 3 months later, in January of 2011, Isaac ends up moving into Felicia's home, but he left almost as soon as he came up in there because Felicia's mom, she lived with her at the time and she was not having it. She found out that Isaac was drinking alcohol and she put his ass out. I'm sorry. I find that funny. How do I tell you? I have an interesting sense of humor. I laugh at almost everything. I find this fucking hilarious that grooming was okay and like having a child by someone who's not 18 was okay, but him drinking alcohol, baby, that is where we draw the line. Period. Boundaries. By the end of February 2012, mind you, this was January we were talking about, right? By the end of February, the next freaking month, a school investigation into her misconduct got kicked off. So unlike with most of these cases, like this, where it's a teacher-student thing, Isaac is actually the one who blew the lid off of everything. He ended up reporting feeling disturbed and that he was unable to eat or sleep properly for 2 weeks. I'm assuming because of their relationship or because of the ending of their relationship. Putting in my 2 cents, I think he did that out of spite because her mama put him out. And he was like, all right, I got something for you, bitch. I'm finna fuck your job up. Now we're both put out. Ha! Now we're both looking for a home. Like, that's what I feel like it was giving, personally. I could be wrong now, but I do not think so. I'm pretty sure he did it out of spite. But, people do things, and at the end of the day, hate to say it, but he was a child. So, as a child, you do childish things. Anyway, when school investigators ended up questioning Miss Felicia, she said that she and Isaac were in love. They planned to get married, and they had bought rings and everything. Now, I don't know if they bought the rings or she bought the rings. I'm going to assume she bought them. Whatever. Either way, once again, I feel like she's not thinking. This is another not thinking moment for Felicia. Because how are you going to have this life with this boy? I was going to say with this man, but with this boy with no money? Because one thing about it, and two things for sure, these people are going to be taking this job, baby. Sorry, Miss Mama's like, you won't be a teacher ever again. So it's like, I don't know. At least stop confessing and snitching on yourself. Like, that's all I'm saying. The investigators obviously recommended that the school district fire Felicia and make sure that she can never work for the New York City Department of Education ever again. Like, they were not trying to see her. They said, baby, the door, hit it. And I can't say I blame them. I really can't. If I had a school district and my teachers were up in there hunching on my students, having kids by them and stuff, like, girl, y'all gotta go. Y'all have got to go. I will teach all the classes myself. Just craziness. But, after having her face and her business spread all throughout the news, over the next 4 years, Felicia ended up attending John Jay College of Criminal Justice. She was actually studying forensic science, and she worked there as well. And, she just kind of spent her time studying and stuff, working, raising her son, raising her daughter. She was around 8 at the time. Isaac, for his part, he just paid child support and he visited his son. But as far as like the day-to-day, he wasn't super involved and was kind of actually kept away from Miguel. Now, at this point, like just before the murders, information about their lives is a little bit sparse. And honestly, the majority of the actual investigation is a little sparse as well. There's not a ton of like info on it that I could personally find. But from what I could gather, once the police discovered their bodies in the apartment, they tried to learn as much about Isaac as they possibly could, which was a little bit difficult because it was even hard to pin his real name down. His family couldn't be immediately reached, and he no longer just lived in the Bronx. He was actually going back and forth from the Bronx to Pennsylvania because he had a new girlfriend. Now, he's committed this horrific crime. Well, 2 technically horrific crimes. And you'd think, he's on the run or something. But the police end up catching him. They end up catching him. They start questioning him. And not only does he confess, he admits to everything in disturbing detail, which always creeps me the fuck out because it's like, are you as the criminal trying to make yourself be like as creepy as possible? Or are you trying to intimidate them? Like, what's the tea? Why do you have to like... I mean, I guess it's good to go into detail because then the cops know like they're not missing anything, but I don't know. It's just always weird to me when they go into such extreme detail. Like, girl, who you trying to impress? Nobody cares about that. You're fucking weird, But basically in his confession, they found out that he'd gone to Felicia's apartment with the intent to kill. He didn't come over there for no Merry Christmas, no Happy Hanukkah, no Happy Kwanzaa, no nothing, baby. He was coming over there with the intent to kill. Now, what actually happened in the apartment is a point of confusion. At least I would say just for me, but I got multiple conflicting reports from different articles. So I guess everybody's a little bit confused. One article from ABC Chicago reports that the prosecutor said in a court filing that the defendant caused the deaths of both Miguel Barahona and Felicia Barahona by placing a cord around each of their necks and squeezing said cords until both Miguel and Felicia were no longer breathing. According to the medical examiner, Miguel was placed in the tub after he was killed. Now that is a direct quote. But then another article from CBS News, all these damn acronyms, they stated that Isaac Duran confessed to drowning his son Miguel in a bathtub and strangling Felicia, who was found dead in her apartment Monday with an electrical cord around her neck. So, I don't really know how Miguel was killed. We know how Felicia was killed. In both cases, it's saying she was strangled. But then we have opposing, theories of how Miguel was murdered as well. So I don't really know how it happened. Either way, 2 lives were ended that did not need to end. Straight up. That's the long of it, short of it. It never had to happen. The police found evidence of when Isaac committed the crimes as well. So on December 22nd, surveillance video showed him entering Felicia's apartment building. Then on the next day, that same video showed him leaving the apartment building. Now, obviously, that could have just been a little stayover, but lo and behold, Miguel and Felicia were found dead on the 26th. So he went up in there, murdered them however he murdered them, came on out the next day like nothing ever fucking happened, and just, I guess, went on with his life. Like, people are crazy. Isaac allegedly told police he didn't like the way that Felicia was raising their child because she would dress him in girls' clothes. He also claimed that she was interfering in his relationship with his new girlfriend. Right. Because, to me, yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's worth ending my child's life, the one that I cared so much about. I'm so pissed he's being dressed in girls' clothes. I'm gonna kill him and his mom. Girl, I guess you ate that. I don't... Fucking idiot. A literal idiot. The police ended up charging his ass with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And during the trial, the prosecutor revealed his true motivation. It didn't have shit to do. Well, I won't say it didn't have shit to do, but it didn't have a ton to do with her dressing their son in girls' clothes or any fucking thing else. It was money. The piece of shit didn't want to have to pay child support. The fact that you wanted your ex and your child out of your life that bad, just permanently, so you could move on with your new girlfriend and live your little fucking 23-year-old life. Girl, fuck you. You killed your child, not just a child, your child, for some bullshit, for some fucking $2 a month. Because, girl, at 23, you were not making that much money to where it's oh my God, they're just taking 6,000 gajillion billion dollars from me every fucking month. I can't even live. Did you even have a job? Worry about paying child support. Girl, shut up. People are so stupid. People are so dumb. Just to know that all of this was over money, it's gross. It's gross as fuck. And then to support this theory, Felicia's half-brother, Jamie, said that Felicia and Isaac did argue over how Miguel was being raised. True enough. But they argued more so about who gets him, what's being paid, and if Isaac was going to pay child support or not. It's just tragic. He later put in a cute little guilty plea and was sentenced to life in prison, where he remains to this day. Thank God. I understand that he was a child and he made a very adult decision after being groomed by a grown-ass woman who knew better. I'm not going to fault him for that. However, I hate that their son had to get caught up in the middle of that. Because I can only imagine how fucking happy he was to see his dad so close to Christmas, only for him to sit up here and start hearing his mom struggle for her last breaths in the next room. And then he met that same end at the hands of his own dad. That is horrific. I joke, throughout these just to lighten the load for myself and for you, but realistically, that is fucking horrific to imagine. And I am so sorry to Miguel, especially sorry to Felicia for passing away as well, but I'm especially sorry to Miguel because I understand Felicia is kind of the one who initiated everything. She was in the wrong because Isaac was a minor and she kind of took advantage, she took advantage of the situation and ended up getting pregnant and all of that other stuff. But listen, when he chose to commit these crimes, he was an adult. Straight up, a fully grown man. He was 23 fucking years old. I know some 23-year-olds who are about their motherfucking business. So there's no way I'm gonna allow him the excuse of, oh, he was groomed as a child or he was molested. There's plenty of people who have been molested, plenty of people who have been groomed, plenty of people who have been abused and all kinds of things. And guess what? They don't go off to kill their fucking kids or their baby mama. Like, not too much, big dog. Not too much. It's just crazy. And I wish the adults in Miguel's life would have made better choices, not only for themselves, but for him. Because little man did not deserve that. And it's just really, really fucking sad. This case, in my opinion, is a tragic reminder of the long-lasting impact of trauma and the often unseen dangers lurking behind closed doors. Felicia, despite her flaws, she was a mother just trying to raise her kids. Her life and the innocent life of Miguel were cut short by a man who couldn't overcome his anger and his resentment. And in my opinion, that's just fucking sad. We as a people, we've got to do better. We only have one life to live, and we gotta stop cutting shit short over something that's so temporary. Anywho, I'm out of here. Thank y'all for listening, and I hope you're leaving having learned some lessons. And if not, go back and listen again. I'll see y'all next time. And hey, do not forget to lock that door behind me. You never know what could come crawling in.